Hi folks, this is the end of the day, so stay awake or try and keep it interesting. My name is Peter Allen. I'm the CEO and founder of Big Data for Humans. And I got my first job in retail in 1988 as a part-time sales assistant in a record store in Edinburgh, an indie record store. And that day we took £32. It was an experiment in Sunday trading that didn't go that well. But a few years later, happily, I became CEO of the company and we grew sales from 4 to 35 million in a 5-year period. Now, the secret of that was a relentless focus on customers and their data that drove every decision we made in the business, from buying to real estate strategy. And as a result, we were able to outperform our competitors on just about every metric. And recently I had a little look back at through some of the systems I'd used in retail in my time and the ways in which we gathered data. And I realized that it started with one of these guys. And this is a piece of cardboard. The data entry method is something called a pen. And it's in the music business, this was called a master bag. And every album had 3 of these. One for cassette. I know the young people won't understand this. One for vinyl. You definitely won't understand that. And one for CD. And what we do is we record the artist title, catalog number, the date of the stock in, the supplier details, and cost and retail price. And it was quite a robust method, although very laborious. And so quickly we went on and bought networked EPOS systems. In 1989, we were the first UK retailer to do this. And it had a huge impact on our business. We knew exactly what was selling in every store, which improved our liquidity, improved our margin, and a whole bunch of other operational things. Soon after that, we started to segment our customers using EPOS data and other data that we gathered at points of sale in our stores. And we quickly realized that we had segments that span the entire life cycle of the customer. So as young people and students would come into our stores and buy music like hip hop and very specific genres of music, by the time they became middle-aged men, a bit like me or maybe past it, they became what we call £50 man. So they come in at the end of the month and blow their entire paycheck on some cult music films and books, Che Guevara books and all kinds of stuff like that. The method we used for that was basic clustering techniques to break the customers into segments. And once we did that, we were able to feed both ends of our life cycle. A little bit later, we installed these things, footfall counters on the doors, and then we were able to measure conversion rates by the number of visitors to our stores against the number of transactions. So we could consider how successful we were in store and also in each location. A few years after that, I moved on into the modern world and founded a business called Maximizer, which was recently bought by Oracle. Now, Maximizer helps hundreds of retailers around the world to measure the impact of changing customer experience on conversion rate and sales, delivering billions of dollars of uplift in revenue, which was great. But one thing bothered me while I was there, and it was the question of who is the customer. And actually, one day, one of my clients came to me and said, what's a customer? Is that like a non-unique visitor? And I was like, no, dude, it's like a human, like me and you. He was like, oh, okay. And actually, that bothered me so much that I went on to think about, why is Retail Marketing 101, who is the customer, not clear to these people working in retail? Because I had it kicked into me as a young man. And I realized actually some of the reasons were that actually the technology used to answer the question was really outdated. It required really expert operators. And it was a long way from the world of the modern digital marketer. And that seemed kind of wrong to me. And it was certainly a very expensive thing to do. Myself and my co-founder said, well, in the age of Facebook, if people can understand social communities by the connections that they have between likes, between different people, why don't we use similar network theory to understand customers by what they buy? And we experimented with this. We found it was quite difficult to do in the first place, but the results were really nice. And so we decided to build a platform that orchestrated this process and sell it to retailers. And that's exactly what we did. Now, the first impact of that for our clients was that it put customers in the wheelhouse of their business. So senior retailers could see exactly how much revenue they got from the different customer communities every day, week, and month. That had a major impact on how they thought about the trends within their business, but also how they set KPIs for all of the different operating departments of the business. So that could be channels, that could be stores, it could be people in marketing, it could be people in merchandising, people in shopper marketing. So that was a big thing. Secondly, we discovered that actually networks have an incredibly interesting predictive thing about them. If you look at the archetypes of customers at the center of a network and watch them carefully, you soon realize that their behavior predicts the wider population. So our retail clients were able to get first mover advantage over competitors by spotting the opportunities and threats in their customer base first. Having done that, we then went on to build campaign management into the solution so that our retailers could build different target lists and groups of customers and schedule different marketing campaigns to sell more to their customers over time. And that was also very successful. And through test and learn, retailers started to build those processes into their business as usual process for upselling, cross-selling, and retaining customers. And downstairs earlier on, I heard somebody, the lady from my Dallas, saying that, yep, retention is more important than acquisition. And I can certainly agree with that, certainly for profit. And here's some quick examples. So one of our clients saved £100,000 on their direct marketing costs within a week of deploying our solution. And they did that by identifying the customers that weren't responding properly to their direct marketing efforts, which were costing them lots of money. And now they do that every month. They take the same kinds of customers out of that campaign every month. And that saving goes on and on. Another client looked at their upsales process within their existing customer touchpoints. Actually, in the furniture industry, where they bought goods, they had them delivered, and then they had a finance period as well. And by looking at the opportunities that existed within the different customer communities in those touch points, they were able to upsell those customers and add 1% to their like-for-like sales, which was big news for them. And one of our consumer brands businesses looked at customers in the pet food category and worked out how to use our software to increase their UK market share from 1% to 4%. Now, they did that with a retail partner, looking at customers who bought competitor brands and then targeting those competitor brands with vouchers which could be redeemed in store. So some nice little case studies there. Moreover, we're seeing like our clients are suddenly able to not just focus on consumers. We hear the word consumer used a lot in digital marketing in particular, but actually customers. The customers are the people that pay, yeah? The consumers are a mix of others, prospects and customers. And with this insights automated process in their business, they can start to do that and make some more money. And actually, this is a trend that we see is growing a lot. I don't know how familiar you guys are with the marketing tech market, but right now, it's in a very interesting stage. Last year, $1 trillion globally was spent on marketing. About half of that went into advertising, and almost all of the second half went into agency services and consumer data services. And incredibly, only 1% went into marketing technology and automation. And we're not the only ones that believe that was going to grow 10x over the next 10 years to around $120 billion. And there's some key reasons for that. One is the pace at which customers are moving across channels in our clients' retail businesses is just too quick for handcrafted data science to keep up. The other thing is that by 2020, it's predicted that 80% of all media will be digitized. That creates huge amounts of data that needs to be made sense of by people if it's not automated. And actually, the people and talent is the third problem area. McKinsey is predicting a 60% shortage in analytics talent in the US over the next 3 years. And finally, technology. It's disrupting almost every customer experience from banking to knitting. This creates more data that needs to be turned into useful information through marketing automation. So our clients are benefiting from getting this customer-centric view into their business in an automated way and actually selling more. So it's quite simple, really. They sell more to their existing customer base because they know exactly what those guys want and how much they're worth. So if you know any retail businesses that could do with this service, then come and speak to me. Thank you.
Thanks very much. I think I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Mickey, actually.
Yeah.
So what exactly is your product, and kind of what's your relationship with your customers in a kind of business sense?
Well, our clients. So we work principally for retailers. We consume their transaction data and automate their customer insights process so that normal executives in the business can use it without the need for expertise.
So you're kind of providing a data dashboard.
Yeah, it's a data science as a service solution but for people who are not data scientists.
Okay. Right, questions? Cheyney and Bindi, writing and typing frantically.
It's a good sign. 10 points.
Who are some of your customers that you have right now, Peter?
Yeah, so we work for Tesco. At the other end of the spectrum, we work for an independent furniture retailer called Fishpool. And somewhere in the middle, we work for a bunch of consumer brands from Spectrum Brands in the US. So there's quite a range of different people there.
Okay. Cheyney.
So would you say that your service is, your data science and ability to gather insights from your customers' data, or do you have a bespoke set of tools that you actually use?
No, it's, I guess,
or a little of both.
The bit in the background that's tough is that orchestrating using network in an engine is a hard thing to do, yeah? So what we've done is built a technology platform that orchestrates the ongoing use of that problem so that it can then be surfaced in an app.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, sure.
What's the secret sauce, without
secret
revealing
sauce,
what
yeah.
the secret sauce
So here's
fully
the
is?
secret sauce, okay? If you give me 1 million customer records with a unique ID and a purchase history, in order to build a network, I need to compare all 1 million against each other and decide how similar they are to each other on a scored basis. So that's an n-dimensional problem. If I drop one more customer into the mix, then I have to start again. So what it requires is a very large data problem to be solved on an ongoing basis and orchestrated through computing. And you can do it by hand, but it would take you months. In fact, the first time we did it by hand, and it was agonizing. So actually orchestrating the use of networks in customer insights is a tough thing to do, and that's why we're the first people to do it.
And you've cracked that nut, you say?
Yep.
Okay. Scalability?
Well, scalability is good.
When you get to 10, 20, 30 million customer records?
Yeah, so we're already doing that kind of stuff. And actually, scalability has many dimensions. But essentially, we're cloud-based, so we can acquire as much resource as we need in terms of computing. And we have a number of ways of scaling the platform in terms of the computational power as well. Actually, the more regularly you get the data, the quicker we can scale, because big batches are harder to do than little ones. So as we start to get in a drip feed process, we can actually scale quite a bit faster.
And then last sort of supplemental, where is the data coming from? Is it just all the in-house stuff, or are you pulling in stuff from social, or where is all the information coming from?
It all starts in-house with the proprietary data the business owns. So that could be in a small business in an e-commerce platform. In a big business like Tesco, it's in a data warehouse. So anywhere where the customer record lives.
The point is you can pull in data from anywhere.
Yep.
Drop it into your secret sauce. And
provided we can match it to a customer ID, we can use any kind of data.
Okay, fine.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.